Okay, it's noon in Chicago, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start today's Lunch and Learn. Today's topic is WIP Inventory Reconciliation and Cost of Sales WIP Capture. In the system, transactions are collected from various sources. So we collect them from purchasing, we collect them from shipping and receiving, we collect them from material movements, and then we also collect labor entries, which of course include our burden entries. For accounting, these are especially troublesome because we need to find out where they're coming from and how they are posted to our general ledger. So we're going to first print the inventory WIP reconciliation report. So you could migrate in your system to job management, reports, inventory WIP reconciliation. You'll also find this under inventory management, reports, and then WIP reconciliation. Note that even though it's generally used by accounting, it's not found under any of the accounting modules. You can always have your IT staff put it on your menu so that you don't have to migrate to the other modules if you choose not to. So we get to this report and we have lots of different choices to make on this report that will come in handy when we're doing our analysis. So you'll see, for example, we can do the full account level. We can see what transactions are either posted or not posted or both to our general ledger. For today, I picked only unposted because these transactions are ones that we still can fix in the system before they post to the general ledger. We want to make sure that we pick the transaction apply date. The transaction apply date will be when it's actually hitting the general ledger, when the transactions are happening. You can pick different dates if you choose to. For this purpose, we picked September of 2021. The reason why I did that is because that's where our sample data happens to be. I can also, instead of picking a date range, I can actually go to a specific journal entry. So if you go to your journal entry tracker and you say, I want to see the general journal code for fiscal 2024 and it's journal number 123, I can go ahead and I can select that in these boxes right here. If you're using project management, you can fill in a specific project on the right. The site option is if you have multi-site, you can say you only want to check the current site if you so choose. I can also be very specific. I can say, I want to see this general ledger account number and all the detail that went into it from the manufacturing side of the system. I can put in my general ledger account number, and it's very handy to check the box that says include offsetting accounts, because here I can see both sides of my entry in this report. The other thing I can do here is I can filter it. So I can say, I can leave the top blank, meaning I'm not going to fill out a specific GL account, but I can go down to the bottom and I can say, select this particular job so that I know what detail has gone into the job entry. I can also pick transaction types. If you're not familiar with the hierarchy, the transaction hierarchy, I can answer that question later on, but we're talking about the various types of transactions. So I ran this report, and you can see that the type in this column right here has to do with where it's coming from, what general ledger control code actually is behind the transaction. So if I go, that transaction's not right, I will have to go back and look at the transaction hierarchy code, see where the debits and credits are coming from. In this case, it would be a debit, and I would get the spot where the general ledger code is coming from. In this particular case, I picked the not posted. This is handy because I have not done capture and post. And by calling up the not posted, I have a chance to go back and fix these transactions before I actually post to the general ledger. So to find the source of the general ledger account, go to the inventory hierarchy. This can be found by going to help and typing in hierarchy. the transactions from this report can be found in the inventory transaction hierarchy. If you've not used that before, there are 5 main transaction hierarchies. One is inventory. The other 2 main ones for accounting are AP and AR. Then there's one for payroll, and there's actually several more in the system that might be handy for you. So you can see here, I went to the help screen by the circle with the question mark, and I typed in hierarchy, and these are the hierarchies that came up. This one is kind of, I don't know why it showed up, but it did. When we click on that, when we go into that report, then we get this report, which shows us if the adjust cost, which is what we saw in the report, if it's a decrease, the cost of a part, it's telling us where it's coming from. It's telling us where the debits are going to post and where the credits are going to post. So if you have a debit, as we showed before, we would go and we would first check the reason code GL control. Then we would go to the inventory adjustment account. When you see division segment, it'll add a little information for you, but you should be able to get to the main reason or inventory adjustment account. We can fix any labor entries that happen if we have not captured and posted yet. In order to do that, we can, the report showed labor. We can go to time and expense entry here, and we can recall this labor transaction. We can change a job number. We can change the labor quantity. We can change the number of labor hours. We can change the burden hours. Note that if you're adjusting labor entries, just because you put 10 hours in labor doesn't mean it's automatically going to type in 10 hours of burden. You must manually change that. You can also change the resource group. Maybe it's going to the wrong account number, and so we can change the resource accordingly. You can also change the expense code here in labor entry. If you go into time and expense entry, you must resubmit your changes. If you leave it at a recall status, you'll have an error message when you try to do the capture and post. So make sure that you hit the submit button on the bottom. We can also fix a packing slip that was done wrong. So in order to do that, we have to unreceive our particular packing slip. Then we can go back and we migrate to changing the PO, and we can change the information here that will change it to a different part class. So once we have this part, we would have to migrate to the part class, and I'll show you that on the next screen. So again, if it's open, unreceive the packing slip, migrate to the purchase order, and then we can fix it on the purchase order and drill down until we get to our part class. And this is where our GL control code is posted to. So here I did a material transfer because that's another type of entry. Unfortunately, once a stock material transaction happens, you cannot change this automatically like you can on the purchase order / receipt and on the time and expense entry for labor. But what you can do is you can go and do a reversal manually by doing an inventory transfer or moving material, whatever you need to do. So in this case, I did an inventory transfer to fix it. And I went ahead and I sent back the bad material transfer, which will then book the journal entry accordingly when we get to the inventory cost of sales WIP. So once you've done all of those changes, you need to go back and print a new inventory WIP reconciliation report. Make sure that it's exactly what you're expecting to see. And when you are satisfied that all corrections have been made, you can do the capture and post. So we're going to migrate over to the general ledger, general operations, inventory reconciliation process. If you're on an older version, you're going to look for capture cost of sales WIP activity. Epicor changed the name as we migrated to later versions. So either one, it's exactly the same process. It just depends on where you're going to find that in your system. Some people have not ever captured and post. Some people only have captured and posted certain information. Some companies have posted to the general ledger, but they've never posted their cost of sales and manufacturing variance. If this happens, here's what we're going to do. So in this case, I'm going to say I'm going to capture and post. I'm going to stay on the current month. I want to do it with all the transactions through September 18th, 2024. You'll notice here at the top that the starting date will match for when my ending date is. So it's gonna say start on September 1st and end on September 18th. The caveat about this date is if you are using the payroll module, you need to watch this date, because what you will do is you will lock people out of updating time and expense entry as soon as you do this capture and post through whatever this date is. And so you want to make sure that any payroll entries are done first on time and expense. It's a lot easier to fix errors there than it is moving forward. My recommendation is if you're using payroll, make sure that payroll for the week has been captured and then in the payroll module, and then go and capture for the previous week in capture and post. It's going to tell you when this was last run and who ran it. And you can see this last run details here. It'll tell you what dates were picked and if it was posted to the general ledger and posted to cost of sales manufacturing variance. So this is last run. This is this run. We're going to post to the general ledger. We're going to post the cost of sales manufacturing variance to capture them into our system. Now this capture outdated transactions. If you've never used this, you need to be careful you need to very consciously choose this, because you can pull in all the outdated transactions that previously were not booked. My suggestion is solidify a month to make sure that you have a solid financial statement. Then print that out. Then capture all of your outdated transactions. We're going to apply it we can do it right back from the beginning. We are going to do an outdated transaction apply date of the current month, and then you're going to write a general journal entry to get your financials back to where they were. So if you've never done it, that would be my suggestion. It does work. Done this with many, many companies, and it just takes some thinking through. And of course, Codabears is always available to help you do that and help you track it. If you're using project billing costs, you can also capture that. This would be for the current period that you're capturing. You can schedule this particular activity on your system. Some people do that. Some people like to do it as of Friday night. Again, payroll is a consideration. If you're not on payroll, you can run this report at any time during the close process, or you can schedule it to be run on a certain day of the week. Once you've picked everything that you want here, you just hit the gearbox and go ahead and process. Verify that your entry posted. If not, check the review journal for any errors. Then you can rerun your report, your inventory WIP, and now you should see a Y in the posted column. And if not, then go to the review journal, like I said, read the error messages. Make sure you read the error messages. I've seen people send the review journal back before they know exactly where the errors happened, and it takes a lot longer to fix them if that happens. So read the error message. Is something out of balance? You're missing an account number on a GL control code somewhere. It could be that general ledger code is not active. Maybe somebody miskeyed it. So you'll have a lot of different reasons why it might have errored out. Once you've got the error messages, cancel the journal entry, make corrections to the original source. If it happens on a capture and post, obviously you have to go back and you have to go to the actual transactions, just like we were looking at. And time and expense entry will still be open because you have not finished the capture and post. Fix the journal entries, fix the source, and then recapture the transactions and continue this cycle until everything posts. And this is just the caution that I mentioned to you about the ending date you choose for capture and post will lock time and expense. Okay, if you lock it out, you do have to migrate to job adjustment, and there you have to manually fix both labor and burden.